17 years ago, an extraordinary motion picture terrified us with a story of a little girl possessed by Satan. On August 17th, the creator of the original Exorcist brings you fear beyond your darkest nightmares, because the priest who saved you is now the greatest evil of all. George C. Scott in William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist III, rated R.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Grave Media Hump Day edition. We are talking about last night's film for October 7th. I know it's October 8th. Give me a little bit of a break. I can only stay up so late and watch so many movies and do so much editing. You're getting a video today. That's really what's important. So hang with me. Tonight we are talking about a seriously intense horror film. Part Silence of the Lambs, part Possession, all killer, no fucking filler shit. I'll even go as far as to say Brad Dourif and George C. Scott are as good, or all pretty damn close to as good as the great Hannibal Lecter, Sir Anthony Hopkins in some moments. That you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen The Exorcist III, this is a scary fucking movie. That's going to be kind of the gist of this review. If you're looking for me to wax poetic or to give you a bunch of things you never knew about this film, I've already covered this film a bunch of times. This is one of my favorite horror films. It just is. It's one of, now I'm not going to say franchises because we lose our way a little bit with Exorcist II, the Heretic. It's that important that I don't remember the name off the top of mind. My fear of old people shows up in The Exorcist III almost immediately. There is something just kind of like unbecoming and almost kind of sad and deliberate about George C. Scott and the priests there that are kind of like having these moments where they're trying to reflect and trying to remember how good things used to be and how they're kind of there for one another. They go and see this movie because Kinderman needs me to go, or vice versa. And I think that that's kind of initially what kind of sets this film up to be a little bit off, is the old people here have to deal with things that they're not used to. They have to relive things that happened 15 years ago. And The Exorcist III Legion gets under my skin as a film. It's got plenty of hair-raising moments, okay? Everybody knows. We're going to get into that in just a second. Basically, I want to say that I watched this film when I was 10 or 11, and there are scenes with old people, that old woman that's trying to pretend that she has a radio, right? Or I have a telephone and she's trying to trick the guy. Kinderman's character, George C. Scott, not only does he play into that, and it's kind of like, in a way, kind of like an amusing and beautiful moment. That shit, that's real. That memory care, that Alzheimer's stuff, the dream sequences, all the stuff with the old people. Dude, I'm telling you right now, man, not a lot of things get under my skin, but that old lady does. When she's on the ceiling and she's kind of crawling around, I don't know what kind of babysitters you guys had, but having to watch The Exorcist III, it's not on my to-do list as a 10 or 11-year-old. It just isn't. And so that film, those scenes particularly just jacked me up, man. It's the scurry on the roof, the confessional booth with that woman laughing. You know what I'm talking about? Legion is the real fucking goddamn deal, man. That maniacal laughter in that confessional. There is something. I can see the pews. I can see everything. It's creepy, man. The way that William Peter Blatty kind of like fades in with the wind and comes back, and that whole church sequence, zooming in on Jesus, it's masterfully done. It is just masterfully done. This is a straight up great fucking horror film. George C. Scott's amazing monologue, even about something as simple as a fish. He makes the idea of a carp swimming inside your bathtub unsettling. I can see it in his face when he's having that monologue with the priest. It's so I've been watching this film for as long as I can remember, and that scene still, I have goosebumps on my legs thinking about why that scares him so bad. Just the thought of its gills breathing. He hasn't taken a shower in 3 days because this fish, if you haven't seen the film, the woman's afraid, his mother-in-law she loves to eat carp, but because of its impurities, she won't cook it unless it's been, alive, basically. So he has this giant carp swimming in his bathtub and he can't stand the sight of it. It's fucking perfect, man. It's great cinema. I love that. I love the tie into the first. I love the accuracy of the novel Legion. Scary ass fucking book. Read that on a Greyhound trip one time. Love Legion. Now listen, we're going to get into if it's better than The Exorcist in just a second. So if that's why you tuned in, dude, all good. We're in the trust tree here. Totally fine. It's penned and directed by the great William Peter Blatty, who wrote the original, who kind of came on and directed this film and just completely crushes everything. I'll listen to discussion and chatter about people who prefer The Exorcist III Legion to the original as maybe, recency bias, I guess, if you will, but come on. Come the fuck on. This is an amazing and scary film. I'm not taking anything away from that, but it is not the magnum opus that has dethroned the moniker that has accompanied the scariest movie of all time in The Exorcist. It just hasn't. The Exorcist has all of the awards. It has all the pomp and circumstance. It's earned that, and I love Exorcist 3, but it's not as good as The Exorcist. It's not. But it does have its charms. How about early Valak the Nun, right? Playing one of the greatest jump scares in all of cinema. I'm not saying it's the greatest, because I think there's that whole sequence, I think, when the man is like sleeping there and they sneak up on him and he makes that noise, that I think is almost scarier than the actual shears coming at you. Now, as iconic as that is, the backstory, the confession, the tie-ins, it's just, the entire film is expertly made and it's edited into one hell of an effective horror film. And speaking of editing, I think it's amazing having the Scream Factory original director's cut, the collector's edition with all of the added runtime, all the, bells and whistles, all the additional scenes. I think that's great. Personally, myself, I prefer the pacing and the practicality of the theatrical version. That's how I seen it. That's how I remember the events. There's a lot of added stuff that I don't know. It lends itself to a better film with the director's cut. And I feel like that's kind of sacrilegious for people to think that. Why is the director's cut not your preferred version? Like, if you're watching Alien, you should always watch the director's cut. You watch this, it's longer, it's better. Sometimes better, longer isn't what you need. I actually prefer the theatrical Exorcist 3, and I think in an alternate universe, this could be my favorite horror film. It just could. The quiet hours and the scenes with Kinderman reading scripture and processing pain, processing anger, processing anguish are absolutely compelling. They tell one hell of a story, and I think even watching George C. Scott just kind of shriek out like in misery, like when he's getting upset with the questioning and how people don't like his answers and how they can't seem to wrap this case up. He is an actor acting his motherfucking ass off in real time, and it's just a masterclass, and I think that is what makes The Exorcist 3 so damn good. Listen, we need to talk about George C. Scott and Brad Dourif, and then the actor playing Father Karras who returns. That scene and the way that Brad Dourif works himself up into a rage, everything about that sequence is perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. The back and forth, the way that he's kind of teasing him, how he's telling about how when he cuts people's heads off and the eyes can still see the body for a few seconds. He plays all these practical jokes on people. He knows his fears. He's killing people around him for reasons. I love the scene with the Walking Dead guy, right? How he's been practicing that script to tell the cop he's going to throw him off the case. Exorcist 3 has some of my favorite fucking scenes in horror. I think it's got one of the strongest openings in horror, and it's definitely deserving of a place on your Halloween watch list. Guys, do all those things they tell you on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that stupid shit. And let's get together tomorrow for the next one. Take care. I love you. Cheers.